You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. Hoopers is the home of Scandinavian and mid-century modern furnishings for your home, drawing from a wide range of local and international designers, manufacturers, and artisans. Owner Warren Hooper has joined me in studio. Thanks for swinging by, Warren.
Good morning, Simon.
Well, it's great to have you here. Hey, let me begin by asking, how have things been at the store over on Sargent?
Things have been great. You know, we've expanded our offerings for lines, bringing in some new brands. We just brought in Ethnocraft from Belgium, which is a beautiful handcrafted line, and we also brought in Scoveby Furniture from Denmark. They've been around for a very long time, and they make gorgeous, high-quality furniture, primarily dining room case goods, tables, chairs, that kind of thing.
Well, I definitely want to chat more about that in a bit. But first things first, I mean, you've been at 1400 Sargent for a few years now, and people may remember the old store over in the Exchange. How long have you personally been in the furniture game?
I've been in the furniture game for, I'd say, at least 27 years in different forms. And I guess about, 20 years ago, we really started to focus primarily on Scandinavian and mid-century modern designed furniture.
It really feels like maybe the past few years especially, but there's been this sort of like resurgence in mid-century modern and like this focus on Scandinavian design. Like you just kind of see it everywhere now, but you've been at it, like you say, for a while now. What sparked your love of that style?
Well, basically the clean lines, a lot of the furniture had a real organic quality to it. And a lot of my customers refer to the Scandinavian style as timeless. It's just something that, I figured it would start to peter out, that style. But because I'm not normal, when I watch movies, for example, you'll see a set dresser, they just can't help themselves. They always got to stick a nice piece of Scandinavian furniture in there.
It's sort of like when I'm watching a movie, half the time I end up listening to the score, right? You kind of pull your interests and you kind of incorporate that into your own passions. So let's chat a little bit more about those manufacturers. You mentioned a few of the new ones at Hooper's, also a good number of others as well. What keeps you coming back to those companies like Gus Modern and Mobican and G. Romano?
Well, Mobican, for example, they've been around since the 80s, and unknowingly, when I was a vintage guy, full on, I was selling their furniture. So
no way.
They made a lot of teak bedroom suites and other pieces. Great Canadian-made product. Couldn't be happier with it. And then our other line, as you mentioned, Gus, another great mid-price point product that's really hard to find today.
Well, in terms of price, obviously a piece of furniture can get pretty expensive. It is an investment, but you're picking pieces that you believe in, right? Like that I guess the goal being that they're going to last over time, right? That the quality is there.
100%. And I researched products, for about 5 years before I moved into contemporary furniture. And it was really hard to weed out the good from the bad, so to speak, because, you start buying lower price point items and then you're running into problems. And it's, I'm not a sales guy by nature, but it's a real joy selling the products that we have in the store.
In addition to new pieces, Hooper's, as you say, has these roots in mid-century modern pieces from the 50s, 60s, 70s. You started out as a vintage guy. You never really know what you're going to have in store when it comes to that stuff, right?
You don't. And that was part of the rub with vintage furniture in general. Once I sold that beautiful teak sideboard, I couldn't pick up the phone and order another one. Whereas with the contemporary products, you've got a really great line with some pieces that are desirable, and you just have so much more to offer customers in terms of, for example, a lounge chair, different fabrics, different wood finishes, that kind of thing.
And, speaking of customers, in terms of services that you offer, do you also source stuff for clients? Is that a thing that you try and do?
We have a wish list for clients, absolutely. So if they're looking for a particular vintage piece or even a contemporary product, we will put our feelers out there in the world to see what we can come up with for them.
So if people haven't visited the space, 1400 Sargent Avenue, would really encourage them to head down there because you have it so wonderfully curated. Like, it doesn't feel cramped. It feels like you can almost like take the pieces and visualize them in your own home, right? Like, that's sort of the goal, I would imagine.
100%. And, I've always been kind of a fussy guy by nature. It's it feels like a detriment sometimes, but the thing is, it's hard for people to envision what it's going to look like in their own space. So we try our best to make it look like you could see it in your own home, basically.
Well, you're doing that very, very well. Warren, great seeing you. Great having you here. And people can find you at 1400 Sargent Avenue or online at shophoopers.ca.
Thanks a bunch, Simon.